Hi, everyone. My name is Anna, and welcome to today's message. Today's message is letting go in love from Philippians 3:13 and 14. Brothers and sisters, I do not consider myself yet to have taken hold of it, but one thing I do, forgetting what is behind and straining toward what is ahead. I press on toward the goal to win the prize for which God has called me heavenward in Christ Jesus. I'm going to say to you that love isn't always about holding on. Sometimes it's about letting go. And letting go, well, that's one of the hardest things to do in life. It's much easier to hold on to things and people that don't serve us because, well, it's familiar. And letting go of someone you love, a relationship with a friend, family, or a romantic partner, is something that's painful because the feelings attached to these relationships are very deep. Letting go of anger, hurt, fear, past mistakes, guilt, failure, and even old dreams. And then there's regret. But it doesn't have to haunt you with the wonder of what could have been. It just means that these things don't fit anymore and they're hindering your faith journey. And letting go means trusting that God is something better for you and that His way is the only way. And making the difficult choice to leave says more about love and peace in your heart than staying hurt where you are. There's going to be times when those you love can't meet you where God is calling you to go, and you will be required to move ahead without them. Letting go is letting God. Now, I've had to face this in real ways in my life, and I've been directed by God to forget the past and focus on what lies ahead and set my goal on what God has called me to do. And though I'm directed toward a future and have chosen to follow, it doesn't mean I'm choosing to love less. What it really means is that I choose to love God and myself more than the pain that caused me to feel this way. And letting go of people, places, and things that I had been clinging to and thought that I needed is really about finding the truth that I didn't need anything because God is always providing. The simple act of surrender has led me to spiritual growth. It's led me to healing and a new beginning. And I've come to understand that letting go is not a sign of weakness, but a step in my faith journey. And when I give my burdens and these people to God, I have found comfort in my choice and the promise of God to give me peace and fill me with His unconditional loving grace. Part of my journey was forgiveness and letting go of what was holding me hostage. I went through years of pain and heartache that prevented me from moving ahead. And that was a hard lesson for me. Seeing who I was in the mirror and identifying where I was holding my own self hostage was a very hard reality. And seeing people for who they truly are and not really what I loved about them was even harder. Seeing that some people don't have my best interest in mind, and that was a bitter pill that I had to swallow. But it opened a door to healing and to my awakening journey. And choosing to release them to God and removing that weight from my heart by letting anger go and embracing forgiveness, I was led ultimately to peace and reconciliation with myself and who I'm meant to be. I learned that carrying those burdens was trapping me, and God doesn't choose for us to be trapped, not by our own mistakes. He wants us to learn those lessons and move ahead. And in my journey of faith and choosing a Christ-like life, well, I have felt at times like I might die. And I don't mean to die like a human death, not like actual death, but a feeling of deep emotion in a world that offers me nothing. Absolutely nothing. And some might call that rock bottom, but I've come to realize that spiritual human death means leaving behind my selfishness, my earthly ambitions, and my attachment to what is not me, and agree to be guided into what God has called for me instead. And this kind of death allowed me to choose God to be the love that I always sought and to find the self love that I had allowed others to take from me. It was difficult, but it provided me with a freedom that I had never known even existed, a joy that I had not previously felt, an unconditional love for myself and for others. And giving to God would just didn't serve me. I found infinite abundance in all areas of my life. I found an understanding that God's love covers me, and that was very liberating. And it helped me begin a new way of becoming who I'm meant to be. I finally stopped trying to manage all the things in my life because I began to understand the importance of letting go. I embraced instead a joyful and less worryful life. And I'm not going to pretend to stop worrying altogether. I am human. But for the most part, I've given it all to God. And I've turned a blind eye to what used to hurt me. And fear no longer has a hold on me. And faith has given me the courage to face what was uncertain. In letting go in love, I found change and embraced what's new. I let go of holding on too tightly and settling, so I wouldn't miss the blessings I was being given. So today's message is this. I chose to learn that to trust God and His plan for me, I had to choose Him to guide me to a better life. I chose to fill my heart with God and not with earthly things or people. I chose God's promise to me and I let go. And now all I see is a future shaped in goodness, grace, and unconditional love. And even though I had to learn that letting go isn't easy, I've also learned that God will guide me, and that in every act of letting go, I'm trusting a life filled with purpose and hope. And I'm truly letting go and letting God. And in the true love that I've always sought, I've chosen the life God intended for me. And that, my friends, is God's unconditional love in action. I hope that today you choose that too, because love is the answer. If this resonated with you, please like and share my post. And thank you for your donations to my divine mission and for helping me to keep my message alive. I'll see you next time.